fight is in the books, and now we turn our attention to the main event of the evening. It's scheduled for 12 rounds for the WBO super middleweight title, and it's the rematch of a stunning draw which was waged exactly 1 year and 6 days ago. It's Chris Eubank and Ray Close ready to battle in Belfast. British-born Chris Eubank calls himself simply the best. He has defended his world title efficiently and effectively, and he has defended it often. He's undefeated since turning pro in 1985, and he's knocked out 18 opponents. That's why it was such a surprise when Ray Close battled him to the final bell in their first fight in Scotland. To put it in simple terms, the fight was closer than anyone expected. Some still think it was the luck of the Irish. For no one out of Ray Close's native Belfast believed he had a chance against England's Chris Eubank in their title fight 1 year ago. After all, the eccentric Eubank, famous for his strange behavior and bizarre posings, had won all 35 of his fights, successfully defending his WBO middleweight and super middleweight titles 10 times in 3 years. While Close, the 24-year-old Irish and European champion, was facing his first world-class opponent in his first world title fight.
I didn't know he was one of the best super middleweights in the world, but just like any other fight, you know, guy to beat.
Yet right from the opening bell in Scotland, Close surprised the critics. As the fight progressed, the momentum shifted back and forth. Eubank scoring with his boxing skills, Close retaliating with his aggressive style. After 10 rounds, most ringside observers believed the fight was almost even when Eubank surprised his young challenger.
It was just a lapse of concentration. You know, when I went down, I just got my thoughts together, got up, and there was no danger in me going back down again. And I think this time that'll figure, because it'll be in his mind that he had his chance and he couldn't finish me. I think that'll be in his mind this time.
Even with the knockdown, it was a very close fight, one that could go either way. Ultimately, the fight was declared a draw. Now, 1 year and 6 days later, England's Chris Eubank and Ireland's Ray Close will fight again for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. But this time, they do it in Close's hometown of Belfast, Ireland.
It's great to be in Belfast. The fans will be behind me, and I believe that it'll take me to victory. Well,
Chris Eubank has made a habit out of going the distance, having gone 12 rounds on 11 different occasions. Close has completed a 12-round fight only once, but he picked the right time to do so, his only world championship fight. Tonight, Ray Close hopes the fans from his homeland will enable him not only to finish the fight, but win it as well. Bobby Ches, should Close utilize the same game plan he used in the first fight?
Well, in the first fight, he was real effective. Eubank seemed to be in somewhat of a lull for the first 9 rounds. Didn't really work. Came on late to score a knockdown just to pull out a draw. But I'll tell you what, early on in the fight, Ray Close, pushing. He's only been 12 rounds one time, and he was forcing the fight as if he had gone 12 rounds so often, much like Eubank, who goes 12 rounds all the time. Eubank didn't look like he wanted a quick pace early, wanted to wait till late and just pick his shots.
What is Eubank's plan of attack?
Well, Eubank's plan of attack should be to hit this guy to the body, because he's a better puncher, one-punch knockout-wise. He's a much bigger puncher. He should work the younger Irish challenger to the body a little bit, slow him down, set the pace the way he wants by weakening the fighter. Pick his shots, throw the big bombs late, and always rip that right uppercut on the inside, which was so effective the first time, the only punch scoring the knockdown.
He is one of only 39 British champions over the years, but a lot of people in Britain think he's one of the most exciting. You agree?
Well, he's certainly exciting because he's so controversial. He's a little weird with his posing he gets in. He's, you know, a little flamboyant. He has some antics that he puts on. So colorful and exciting, I'd say yes. He has the ability to box and punch, but Nigel Benn the last time would have a lot to say about that. I thought Nigel Benn beat him the second fight. Clearly the first fight was Chris Eubank. Second fight, for me, clearly Nigel Benn.
Philosophy for both fighters in a rematch such as this. I mean, how do you approach it?
Usually the better fighter that's getting a second look at his opponent, the man who has the tools, will do better the second time. But sometimes with a young upstart with a fire in his belly like the young challenger is in his hometown now, who have all that much more incentive that he took the world champion in his first shot at a title in a 12-round fight, took him the distance to a controversial draw and being knocked down late might have an added fire. Could be slight advantage to the challenger, especially in the bullet-ridden Belfast.
Well, the hometown favorite is obviously close, but we have seen before so many times in boxing, Holyfield, for example, fighting in Atlanta, sometimes it doesn't work beneficially for the guy who's from his hometown.
Well, sometimes the judges aren't from the hometown. You never know what's on their mind.
You're back to the judges again.
You can't help it. Sometimes you have to wonder what the judges are thinking about during some fights.
All right, finally, your prediction, Chappie. I know you're a broadcaster. You're also a boxer, but are you a prognosticator?
Only a pugilistic prognosticator, my friend. In this fight, I have to go with the champion, Chris Eubank. He's a better boxer, certainly. I think he's a better puncher as well. If he has all his P's and Q's in order today, late round knockout or unanimous decision, not nearly as close as the first time. That's the way I see it.
I like your alliteration. Well done. Here now a look at the tail of the tape for this WBO super middleweight title fight. Chris Eubank is 2 years older than Ray Close. Both fighters are 5'10". Close is a quarter-pound heavier at 168 and has a slight reach advantage. Rules of the World Boxing Organization are in effect tonight. Scoring done in a 10-point must system. 3 judges score the fight. The referee does not. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee has the authority to stop the fight, and the fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. So the scene is set for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship, the 10th title defense for Chris Eubank. Right now, let's go back to Belfast and to the King's Hall to Steve Albert and Ferdy Pacheco.
Thanks again, Bruce, and we welcome you back to the King's Hall in Belfast, where earlier this evening in our first championship bout, Julio Cesar Vazquez retained his WBA junior middleweight title over Ahmet Dotiev of Russia. 3 knockdown rule in round 10. Dotiev outstanding early on, but ended in sheer exhaustion. Right now, we're closing in on our main event, the WBO Super Middleweight Championship between the title holder, Chris Eubank of England, and Ray Close from right here in Northern Ireland in a rematch of a draw almost exactly a year ago to the day. Hello again, everybody. Steve Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. And Ferdy, does Chris Eubank need to win decisively over Ray Close tonight to still be considered among the top super middleweights in the world?
I think he needs to win decisively to win the decision here, because if he doesn't win big, he's not going to win it here. You have no idea the intensity of these people once they get going and what it's going to do to Close. So he must win, and he must win big to win the decision. If he does that, then he's back up to where he can challenge other people. He has been disappointing. He's been disappointing for the last 4 or 5 fights. And nothing he has done has brought him back to that prominence that he had before. He is a good champion. He can punch well. He has a strong punch, a good defense. But he just quit fighting. It's as if he said in the press conference the other day, I don't want to hurt people anymore. I don't want to hit him in the head. I want to hit him in the body. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. What I see is that the fight with Michael Watson took a lot out of him. He fought a very hard fight. Michael Watson got hurt in that fight. He had to go to the hospital. He's recovering now, thank God. We saw him get a standing ovation. Michael Watson, when he came the last time we fought here. But he's still got that in his mind. He still, even in the press conference, talks about not depleting the nerve cells of somebody by hitting him in the head. Well, he's going to have to get over that with this kid, because this kid Close, according to the last fight, comes to fight as soon as the bell rings, and he doesn't stop till the last bell rings. And he has got a fire in him, and it's going to be fueled by this enormous crowd, which is, the intensity is beyond what you can think of. It's like an Ali night or a Barry McGuigan night, or as Eusebio Pedroza in Panama. They just come out and yell from the opening bell. So if he poses, if he does all of those theatrical things that he does, and it's unbelievable, as we will see, the things he gets away with posing. It looks like he's posing for a statue or something. But if he gets away with that foolishness, this crowd is going to just shower him with boos.
Well, he says that he poses to provoke mistakes, but the Close people say he poses because he lacks stamina. It buys him time. Why do you think he does it?
I tell you, it's a time-honored trick. Muhammad Ali was the master of that. He would clown around. Everybody said, what's he clowning for? He was resting. So did Sugar Ray Leonard. So did Sugar Ray Robinson. So did a lot of beautiful fighters who knew that if they were playing around, they could rest. They didn't have to fight during that time. He does that, I think, to rest. He also does it to antagonize the crowd. There's something in this guy that he has to make people mad. Well, he makes the audience mad. The audience hates it, and they boo him, and they throw things and so forth. So we're going to see an interesting fight if he starts to do that here.
Do you think there'll be less strutting and posing tonight. He'll take a more serious, business-like vein.
Well, he's bet a lot of money. He's bet $2,000 that he can knock him out in the first round. Got 50-1 odds with Eastman, and $4,000 that he can knock him out in the 7 at 44-1. So Bobby says you should be here.
So the main event is coming up in just a little while. The battle for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship between Chris Eubank of England, Ray Close of right here in Belfast, Northern Ireland. For more on the fight, let's go back to our New York studios and Bruce Bank.
Thank you very much, Steve. Well, Eubank has not stopped an opponent in 2 years, Bobby. So what does that tell you?
I don't know. Freddie was just talking about the long odds and betting going on that he may stop somebody. I think Chris Eubank has picked his spots to rest by doing some of the antics, as Freddie talked about. And there's times when he just doesn't seem to want to fight. I'm not totally sure why. Only Chris Eubank knows. He has the power, but he doesn't seem to have the energy to sustain the attack for a long time and yet not be able to worry over the long haul. He seems to worry about the long distances, yet he goes them all the time.
In 2 of his last 3 fights, he has battled to a draw, once with Ben, once with Close. Does a fighter lose his edge a little bit in that type of situation?
I'll tell you, battling to a draw is always a controversy one way or the other, depending on the fans and everything and the surroundings, etc. It's always going to probably take away a little bit of the confidence of a champion, especially a champion, knowing that a challenger, more than one now, has taken you to a draw. And you may have lost your invincibility, the aura of invincibility, that feeling you get of not being able to be beaten.
From invincibility to inactivity, Close hasn't fought in 215 days, Eubank 104 days. Could that be a part of our fight in terms of a story?
It could be, but I don't think so. I think these fighters are very capable of getting training camp together and doing what they have to there. There's an awful lot of work that goes on in that training camp. They get right and ready there. They hire a number of sparring partners, many different guys that all will do their best to simulate their opponent. They'll get right there. I don't think the inactivity is going to be a factor. Age, though, may be a factor when it comes to Eubank being older and starting to show little signs of wear and tear. 2 draws in a row. Could be third.
WBO Super Middleweight Championship on the line. 12 rounds. We're set to go back to Belfast, Ireland, to Steve and Ferdy. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thanks very much, Bruce and Bobby, back here at the King's Hall in Belfast, Northern Ireland. We're getting ready for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship featuring Chris Eubank of England and Ray Close right here in his backyard from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Eubank in the press conference yesterday, Ferdy, said that it's not going to go past 4 rounds, but he hasn't had a knockout his last 7 fights since April of 1992. What kind of a fight are you looking for? Do you think it will be a close fight as in the first one?
I think it will. I think it will be the possessed Close in his hometown, chasing and working on him if he gets clipped. And boy, Chris Eubanks can do this. If he can clip him with 1 punch, a nice little uppercut like he did, it could be a short circuit fight. I don't see that. I see a long fight. I see a lot of work on the part of Close and a lot of posing and not so much work on the part of Eubank, because that's his style. And then going to decision. If it goes to decision, Eubank would have to beat him decisively to win. If he drops him 2 or 3 times during the round or once during the fight, then there's a possibility that he could get the decision. But I think it's a very interesting fight. It depends on what Chris Eubank shows up. If it's the one from the last 4 or 5 fights, I think Close can take it. If it's the original one we saw where he comes out banging, then Eubank can beat him.
All right, we are set to go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr., to introduce the challenger, Ray Close. So get ready for some fireworks here in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the evening. Please prepare to welcome to the ring tonight's challenger and WBO #1 ranked contender, Ray Close.
the challenger, Ray Close, a 2-to-1 underdog. The 25-year-old Close, the local favorite, born and raised in Belfast. He's 22-1 with 11 knockouts. The former Irish super middleweight champ, now rated in the top 10 by 3 world organizations. The WBO's #1 contender, ranked #5 by the WBC and #7 by the IBF. Fighting his way through that massive crowd. And Freddie Close said yesterday, I have a fire burning inside me. Eubank does not. How much of that is just the pre-fight hype? How much is reality? Because when you hear Eubank talk, you'd think he's ready to retire. Is Close hungrier, or are those just words?
They're words, because while he talks and gives a lot of gibberish about retiring, he is ready to sign an 8-fight contract with Sky TV as Chris Eubank. So enough of that retirement nonsense. He's not going anywhere. He has to win here in order to collect big bucks for an 8-fight contract.
But how about the fact that Close says he's got more fire than Eubank?
Oh, he definitely has. He's got he's in his hometown. He had more fire in the last fight, and now he's got an excellent corner. He's got politically, he's so well connected here. I'd be shocked if he lost here. And he's a young guy who hasn't been there. He hasn't been the champion, and he can taste it. Here he comes, dressed all in green.
Ray Close, his second try at a world title, hearing it from this crowd. He is thinking upset, along with about 8,000 fans. Back to Jimmy.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, please welcome the WBO Super Middleweight Champion, Chris Eubank.
We await the champion, undefeated Chris Eubank. The 27-year-old Eubank will be making his 10th defense of the title as Ray Close paces and waits. And this could be another ploy by the champion to make Close wait as long as possible.
Nothing surprises me with Chris Eubank, a man who calculates every move, and apparently to antagonize the press and his opponents, he comes dressed spiffily, and he is giving one epigram after another. You feel like you want to give him a bound book of Oscar Wilde's epigrams so he can conduct a press conference. He can talk, this young guy, and he's coming out not in a hurry. Let everybody take their time and boo him roundly.
And finally, here comes Eubank, 36-0-2, 18 knockouts, born in Dulwich, England, now lives in Brighton, England, hearing the boos from the crowd. The enigmatic, arrogant, colorful Eubank generally likes to enter the ring by jumping over the top rope. We'll see if he does that tonight.
Right now, the Irish fans antagonizing him by touching his hair as he goes by, and he hates it. He's making some kind of fierce face. They're trying to protect him from that. I don't think that should be allowed. Anybody should be allowed to touch a fighter. Come close.
There's an unwritten rule in boxing. Don't touch a fighter's hair or an announcer's hair.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at the arrogance of this guy. Oh, yeah. He wants everybody to be mad. The man you love to hate. Look at the posing. He's just starting.
He's standing as if on a pedestal before he gets into the ring. Will he leap over the rope?
Do a take here. And now, one to the other side. Is that a fashion model or is that a fighter? I mean, what is this? I've seen better moves by Cindy Crawford.
Looks like he's getting ready for the cover of GQ.
If he jumps, he might knock Mike Marley right over. Look at that.
He's barking back at the crowd.
Here we go.
Chris Eubank with the theatrics entering the ring in most unorthodox yet entertaining fashion. We got to get Bobby Ches to work that into his repertoire.
I think Ches would look good posing like that. He's got that good looks and the little beard and everything. I think Bobby looked terrific doing that. If we could just get him to lose enough weight to go over the rope. Maybe just 2 ropes, Bobby.
The champion from Britain, who actually learned to fight in the South Bronx under manager Adonis Torres, who passed away in 1987. In fact, his first 5 pro fights in Atlantic City, he won all 5 before returning to England. Back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Of the evening at this time, we present, and we'd like to ask you to join us in the singing of the beloved Irish melody, Danny Boy.
Look at the back of Chris Eubank. He's been sprinkled with dust by a leprechaun who came in sprinkling gold dust. It's all over the canvas. They're trying to get it off. Everybody's very mad at this leprechaun, but he got in his gold dust, or his luck dust, as he called it.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance,
And Eubank is still paralyzed in the same pose.
Sports Network and sports fans joining us around the world, we welcome you to King's Hall in Belfast, Northern Ireland, for the main event of the evening, Out for Justice, brought to you by Don King Productions and Sports Network, promoters Don King and Frank Warren, as sponsored by Corona Beer. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization. Supervisors Alice Richardson and Nick Karasiotis, along with the British Boxing Board of Control, the stewards in charge, Bill Sheeran and John Williamson. Physicians at ringside working this evening, Dr. George O'Neill, Dr. Paul McEwen, Dr. Dermot Grant. Timekeeper at the bell, we have Dale Elliott. Introducing to you the judges as appointed at ringside. Roy Francis, Gene Glenn, Dr. Clark Sammartino, and introducing to you the referee in charge of the bout to give instructions after the introductions, Paul Thomas. All right, fans, here we go with the rematch, main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime. The WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right in the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing green trunks, fighting out of and representing the beautiful city of Belfast, Northern Ireland. He weighed in at 12 stone even for the limit of 168 U.S. pounds. His record includes 20 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the very popular WBO #1 ranked super middleweight contender, introducing the challenger known as Ray. Nothing comes close. And his opponent across the ring on my left is the defending champion in the red corner. He enters the ring wearing yellow trunks and fighting out of Brighton, England. His weight, 11 stone, 13 pounds, 14 ounces, or 167 3/4 U.S. pounds. With a tremendous record of 36 wins, no losses, 2 draws, he has 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Welcome the colorful WBO super middleweight champion of the world, known as simply the best, introducing the undefeated Chris Eubank. Once again, the referee in charge of this bout, Paul Thomas, now to give instructions.
They're still trying to dust the glitter sprinkled by the leprechaun off of the canvas. Much of it is being dusted onto us, unfortunately, so I guess we've got the luck of the Irish for the remainder of the night.
I hope it's good luck, because we sure got our... when I send this tuxedo to the cleaner, my cleaner's going to say, where have you been?
Was it New Year's Eve where you were?
Where were you? I'm full of glitter, and so's Chris Eubank. He's got it all over his body, and they've been trying to get it off. I wish I'd have brought my sketch pad. You know, he's posed in the same position so long I could have sketched him well, you know, with all that beautiful muscle definition.
It'll be interesting, though, in a clinch, some of that glitter could rub off on Close's gloves. Could it end up in Eubank's eyes, and vice versa? Now they're trying to get the glitter off the back of Chris Eubank, which gives him more opportunity to pose.
Well, I mean, they've been working on it for a long time because it sticks. They tried it with oil, they tried it with water. It's still back there, it's still sparkling, and you're absolutely right. That gets on the gloves, and that gets in the corner of your eye. Big trouble. You got another Ali Liston fight on your hands. And you haven't got Angelo in the corner to tell him to go on out there and fight.
I've heard of fights ending in controversy, but not beginning with controversy.
This is already warmed up before it's even started. Well, let's see if that well-known fire that they talk about is really in Ray Close's belly, and if it penalizes him, if he comes out too strong, he may get clocked. Because don't forget, this is Chris Eubank, and although he's been disappointing in a lot of fights, still, he has been great in many fights, so it's still the same guy.
In England, Ferdy, some call Eubank simply the blessed, that he's one of the luckiest champions in the world, pointing out 6 fights in the last 3 years that he could have lost. They are very rough on him in England, but some of that might be justified.
Well, the 6 that they mentioned and the breakdown of the 6 shows you in each and every one there was something bizarre happened. You know what I mean? It was like each one he was blessed.
They mentioned the fights involving Michael Watson, Sugar Boy Malinga, Tony Thornton, Ray Close, and Nigel Benn. Tonight it's Eubank's 10th title defense, a title he won in September of '91 in a big rematch of a highly controversial split decision versus Michael Watson. Eubank won a furious 12th round TKO, but sent Watson into the month-long coma that Ferdy alluded to before. Watson has yet to fully recover from brain damage, and Eubank still troubled by the tragic injuries he inflicted on Watson. It is not a topic he discusses freely. So they are continuing to brush off the glitter.
Most of that has come on to us. I mean, so we're glittering here for the first time in my life. I can say I haven't been in a glittering profession.
Literally and figuratively. So Chris Eubank, 36-0-2 with 18 knockouts. Very skilled, very fluid. He's got a great chin, excellent counterpuncher, and a lot of glitter on his back as they continue to try to brush it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to do it with a tweezer pretty soon. Whoever his bright publicity stunt that was certainly has backfired, because this guy is just continuing to sweep right into the laps of the press and the media. He's saying, I'm sorry, but everybody's covered with glitter.
Chris Eubank, who likes to play the role of the intimidator. He is just so different from everybody else. It's not unusual, as we said, to see him strut and pose. He's been known to stand there as if on a pedestal, and you will see him stroll to his corner when the bell sounds. He plays a chess game, Ferdy. He tries to force you into mistakes.
Yeah, I don't think that works with a good professional fighter. I'm sure Bobby will cover that a little bit when we get to him, because Bobby would have clocked him one while he was standing there, and any good fighter will do that. Guy stands still, you're going to hit him. I mean, I don't care what he's posing at.
Word is that Eubank did not train hard for the first fight with Close, as the referee Paul Thomas of England tries to supervise this most unusual beginning.
Paul Thomas.
Eubank said he thought his skills would be enough, but Close came to fight. He underestimated Ray Close. Here are the instructions, finally.
You know what I expect of you. Give me a good, clean contest. Remember to defend yourselves at all times and obey my instructions at all times. Best of luck to both of you guys, okay?
Well, it wasn't a paraglider that delayed the action, but a leprechaun.
Thank God he didn't have a shillelagh with him. Or as Don said in the press conference yesterday, a Chevrolet with him.
Well, it's not as bad as having a Buick.
That's right.
So here we go. After a long delay because of glitter. Game held up by glitter. And even now, Eubank poses as he comes out to begin the fight. In the post-fight interview on British television after the first fight, Eubank was startled to learn that the fight was scored a draw. He thought he won because the ring announcer at first mistakenly declared it a victory for Eubank.
Bear in mind, this guy has bet $2,000 on himself that he could win in this first round. And he just put together 3 punches, any one of which would have done serious damage had they landed. Trying to go with the uppercut, missed again. Uppercut, missed again. Oh, he is trying.
Ray Close, a well-schooled fighter, disciplined, workmanlike, busy, he'll bore in. He won the European title on the accumulation of punches. He's very game and he's very stubborn. But Eubank is very patient.
Right now he's very tight. He's not fighting like he did the last time, using the jab and coming in with a jab. He kind of rushed in and grabbed him 2 times as if he was scared of him. It's a different Ray Close right now. He's got to get himself in the heat of the action.
Going to the body is Chris Eubank. It's not known yet if Close is a good puncher. He's had 11 knockouts and 20 wins. He has not produced many knockdowns, only 8 in his 20 wins.
Well, we know Eubank is a good puncher and a good body puncher. He said in the press conference that's what he's going to use to knock this guy out, a body punch. He landed several resounding ones a little while ago.
Halfway through the opening round, scheduled for 12. Close summed up his feelings through poetry yesterday. He says, Eubank is simply the best. I say he's simply the worst. Tomorrow night, the bubble will burst, to which Eubank spouted, "You're no Rudyard Kipling."
Which sent everybody looking in the ring record book for who Rudyard Kipling was.
Great middleweight from the 60s, right? In any event, the title of this card, Out for Justice. Perhaps Ray Close will have poetic justice, but so far he seems the tighter of the two.
And he seems the one that's taking the shots, too. His face is getting all red, and this is just the first round. And all of that posing we haven't seen any of it from Eubank. He is definitely serious here. He is definitely the old Chris Eubank in this first round.
Eubank likes to dictate the tempo. He is a fighter who likes to take control of the fight. Very difficult to take the control away from him.
You haven't heard any yelling because Close hadn't done anything for the fans to get excited about. Very different from the first fight when Close was winning all the early rounds.
Eubank doesn't make many mistakes. Eubank has respect for Close as a person. Close, a good family man, religious. But once the bell sounds, Eubank is all business.
Well, he's got an 8-fight contract waiting for him here, and he better get serious. Now, here comes the poser. Here comes the poser.
And there's the bell to end round 1. Let's go back to our New York studios and Bruce Beck.
Well, Steve, more posing than punching thus far. And Bobby Ches, how would it have affected you as a fighter with that long delay?
The long delay wouldn't have bothered me that much. The delay in the dress room for the entire day is long enough of a wait. You heat up and you cool down a little bit, but for most people that's a problem. I never stop sweating, so it's never a problem.
How would you have dealt with the Eubank stare?
I'd have stared sideways at him, too. I'd have given my right shoulder and basically played the same head game with him that he was playing. He's just a head case, and I think that sometimes you need to throw a little bit back at him just to throw him off.
How about his first round?
He came out a little better than he did the last time. He threw more punches in that round than he did in the first 2 or 3 rounds combined. Still doing a little of that posing, silly stuff, showing you his muscles and his sculpted body. You know, it's not effective. Do the punching, do the work, get the job done, get out.
All right, back to Belfast, to Steve and Ferdy ringside. Guys?
Thank you very much, Bruce. As Chris Eubank strolled into his corner ever so slowly, accepted by trainer Ronnie Davies in very nonchalant fashion. They know exactly what he is up to. He's just so confident. Well-chiseled physique. He's in outstanding shape.
It took him 45 seconds to get back this corner. He faced each direction and made a face.
Look how he's handling this. Almost taunting the challenger.
It's some kind of a ballet, I think. I'm not sure what music is going on in his head. But he's like no fighter I've ever seen. If he's looking for the unusual, he certainly has found it.
Close wound up on his rear end early in the 11th round of the first fight with a short twisting right uppercut by Eubank. Eubank's uppercut was threatening all night, and one finally got through and nailed Close.
Close surprised him last time. He certainly isn't surprising him this time. He isn't out fighting him. He isn't out thinking him. He isn't out doing anything but getting out punched.
Can the home crowd advantage sometimes work against you? Could it be a disadvantage and make you more nervous? That might be the case.
Let me tell you, if I had to pick between the two, I'd take a good roaring home down any day. Because it gets you back on your feet when things go wrong, and when things are looking blackest, they pick you up. Now, I'd rather have it. I'd rather have it all the time.
It doesn't seem to faze Chris Eubank.
No, it doesn't. I mean, as a matter of fact, he has an audience for what he wants to do, which is antagonize him.
He thrives on this. The last fight on neutral ground in Glasgow, Scotland, which is about a half hour by airplane up northeast of Belfast. A lunging right by Ray Close, but doesn't even come close to Chris Eubank.
Chris has blown his first round bet, and now he's on the way to blowing the second round bet.
Close's nickname is nothing but Close. Eubank thinks it should be close is not enough, as in the first fight between these two.
Well, Eubank bet it with the leading bookmaker in Ireland, who is the man who is working in the corner with Ray Close. So in between rounds, he must have said, okay, we got the first bet in, now let's get the second bet in, and then let's start the fight in the third round. Because he's not doing much here either.
Not much was known about Close before the first fight, but he did give a good account of himself. He did not look bad. It was extremely close. There's the first good flurry by Ray Close to the head of Eubank.
And you hear it from the crowd, and he hears it. Maybe that'll spur him on, because he can't just, oh, that was the uppercut that dropped him last time, and it landed just right by Eubank for a perfect uppercut. Again, the uppercut.
But Close staying up.
And there went another bet.
And for the first time, Close coming back into the face of Eubank. We did not see that in the first fight, and it's the first time.
Well, those uppercuts were a thing of beauty, but they didn't do the damage they did in the 11th round of their first fight when they decked him. Decked Ray Close. Well, in Ray Close's corner, they got to say, okay, that was nice for 2 rounds, but now let's get back to work. Let's take a look at the action when Close. See that right here is where he triggers off the punch that got the crowd crazy. That was just a little right hand, but he's got to do more of that. He's got to punch more. He hasn't done it. He's won the first 2 rounds, and now Chris Eubank can afford a little gratuitous posing because he's ahead.
It's the most serious we've seen Eubank looking all night. He's the most successful boxer in British ring history, having been involved in 14 world title fights in succession since his win over Nigel Vann in November of 1990. Here we go into round 3 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Eubank in the gold. He's the champion from England, and Close in the green. He's the challenger from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Now a more serious tone by Chris Eubank.
That was a little basketball move outside.
So much for the seriousness. He was dribbling a basketball.
I think he's good. Now he's looking at the game plan on the floor. Let's see. I move to the right. He's looking on the floor. I mean, how foolish can this be? And still, he's a good fighter. Look. I mean, what is that? That's a guy like he's walking around in a melted Hershey bar.
And And a pushback left jab by Ray Close.
Incredible how slow a foot he is. Like he doesn't really care what he does. Two good shots. Again, another good shot. And he's got by Close, and he needs that. Keep him up, says the referee, Carl Thomas.
Eubank with a wild right hand that misses.
That's the first really sloppy thing I've ever seen him do. That was sloppy.
You know, the strutting and posing, Purdy, is okay up to a point, but he is obviously doing too much of it here.
Well, but that's a function of what Ray Close lets him do. I mean, because you can't strut and pose if you got a glove in your face. And Ray is just kind of looking at him. He should know better. He fought 12 rounds with him before, and the reason he was beating him, and I thought beat him, is because he was so active each round. He kept that jab right in his face. Now the jab that's going is Chris Eubank. His jab is going good to the body and to the head.
The elusive Chris Eubank.
Well, that fire that Ray Close talked about building up, they better throw another few logs on there. He's fighting nothing like he did before. Nothing like it. Maybe ignorance is bliss. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing last time, and he just carried it through like we have seen in our first fight.
At a very lively press conference yesterday, thanks in part to a provocateur by the name of Purdy Pacheco, Eubank said there won't be a fight past round 4. But he hasn't had a knockout since 1992. 7 straight fights without a KO. Less than 30 seconds remaining in round 3.
And here's the jab that was winning the rounds for him. That little combination you saw, 2, 3, 4 jabs. He needs to keep doing that instead of just covering up when the guy comes rushing in. He needs to nail him on the way in with a straight right from the shoulder, but he's not throwing it. He's just happy to hold him when he comes in. Maybe he's never fought a guy with this much glitter.
And the bell sounds to end round 3.
He now faces the audience. He's got a new thing where he just barely hits his gloves together. I don't know what that means. Then again, I don't think he knows what it means.
And now he stares straight forward at his trainer, Ronnie Davies. Once again, we remind you that they don't allow microphones in the corners here in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
That's why Lou Duva never fights here in Ireland. He refuses to work the corner without a mic.
Good point, Chris.
Yes, that's it. You never see a Lou Duva fighter in Ireland. Well, they're now giving him a little bit more of basic instructions in corner. Barney Eastwood is saying, our bets are covered, son. Now just fight, just box, and let's beat this guy.
Second time.
Well, against Eubank, the close mentality is if I can hang in there for the first half of the fight, I can win the second half. But the first half thus far being controlled for the most part by the theatrical Chris Eubank. Round 4. Eubank now smiling in the face of Ray Close. Not a grazing blow, but every little shot is going to get the crowd roar.
He's so wide open when he does it. Look how he's lunging. He's so wide open. If Close would just grit in and throw a counter punch, you can nail it. Look at it. Look at him stretched out there.
And they're really being telegraphed. It's a shame that Close cannot take advantage.
He's almost closing his eyes. It's like, oops, here he comes again, instead of stepping in with it. Stepping under that arc and letting fly a straight punch would nail this guy. Whether it's a jab or a straight right hand would nail him. Eubank certainly doesn't take his eyes off of him. He's just drilling a hole in his forehead with that look.
The very philosophical and intellectual Chris Eubank just got tagged with the left. The left was stronger than the right by Ray Close. Now the holding and hitting by Close, and that's broken up by Paul Thomas.
And that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to rough him up. He can't let him go through this whole long-distance, slow-motion fighting. He's got to make him get Irish there, get into a brawl. That's what he's got to do. He hasn't done it. He's got to get his fire going, and it hasn't been going yet.
Yes, even in the 11th round, after he got knocked down in the first fight, he came back with a big flurry that really impressed everybody. Halfway through round number 4.
Two small low punches by Chris Eubank, and they're certainly not calling low punches here as we have seen in the past several months of our Showtime fights.
Ray Close 22-1 with 11 knockouts, rated in the top 10 by 3 world organizations. The champion Chris Eubank 36-0-2 with 18 knockouts. He's 27, Close 25.
Chris doing much better now. 3 jabs and a right hand, but at least he was throwing them. He's the offender. He's the offensive fighter now, and that's what we need. That's what he needs if he's going to stay in here with champion Chris Eubank.
Eubank now working the jab. We haven't seen much of that up until now. Chris Eubank, a product of the fabled Gleason's Gym in New York. His 4th year as a world champion, and a stumble by Ray Close, who tripped over his own feet.
Oh, look at that.
Wild sloppiness by Chris Eubank. Why doesn't Ray Close jump on him?
That's what his corner must be hollering. Why doesn't he jump on him? Why doesn't he do something here? Of course, this is the best round he's had so far. He's doing the fighting, and the other guy's doing some wild missing.
And there's some of that toughness you were talking on, holding it
right there. That's what he needs. Be aggressive, be rough.
But back comes Eubank with an uppercut.
A wild overhand right that did not land.
And Close has a few words for the posing Eubank. Round 4 is in the book.
You almost expect this corner to come out with a trolley, mount him like you do a statue, and then take him back to the corner. Let's watch the slow motion of the punches that at least Close is trying to get in there. See those 2 punches? They were pushing punches. Not big deals, but they're better than they were before, and they're making points, and that's what he needs.
Half step and then hit him and jump on top of him. Deep there. Remember this, he's put all the pressure on you for these 3 or 4 rounds. After this,
That's great. We're getting the residue effect. We're hearing what they're saying in the corners. Not allowed to put microphones in there, but actually able to hear some of it. Bernardo Checa of Panama in the corner of Ray Close. Ronnie Davies in the corner of Chris Eubank. So here we go into round number 5, scheduled for 12 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Ray Close looking to jump on Chris Eubank, who has been sloppy at times, and let's see if Close can take advantage. Now again, the holding and hitting by Ray Close. The first fight was a very, very close split decision draw. One of 2 draws in the career of Chris Eubank, the other against his archenemy, Nigel Benn. Without that knockdown in the 11th round of that first fight, Close wins the fight. And he would have been the WBO Super Middleweight champion.
I don't think he's doing enough to win a championship here tonight, but we never know. We are in Belfast, and he's keeping it pretty apace the last 2 rounds. That was a low one. Finally, Eubank gets tagged for that low blow. The referee, Carl Thomas, said, hey, keep him up. That's more than once now.
Now Eubank down to more business, less strutting and posing. You can be almost certain he will stroll and cruise back into his corner, though, when the bell sounds. But right now he seems to be more serious. Oh, wild left as they were breaking in. The referee, Paul Thomas, gets into the face of Eubank.
How interesting that would have been if they'd have landed hitting on the break and doing the damage he could have done with that punch. That would have been interesting here in Ireland.
Just what we need, more controversy. Less than a minute remaining in round 5. That left, a grazing punch by Eubank.
But he missed everything. You know, these misses are going to take something out of Eubank.
There's a pretty good exchange, and Close with the right hand.
Close getting better every round. He's getting a little bit better. He's certainly in his rhythm now. He's in the rhythm that he had in that first fight, where he wasn't scared of him and he was out punching him and causing him to miss wildly. So that's what's happening right now. Right now we're seeing a replay of that first fight.
Ray Close picking up the pace. dancing around up on the balls of his feet. Less than 30 seconds to go in the fifth. But still close. Has to be very cognizant of that right uppercut. We just saw it from Chris Eubank. That is Eubank's bread and butter.
Oh, I gave him a little laces that time. That's an old-time trick of rubbing the laces across the face. Up close, referee did not see that.
Eubank knows most of the tricks in the book.
Oh, nice jab, strong jab right in the face of Eubank, back close.
A much better round for the challenger, Ray Close. Round 5 is history. Right now, let's go back to our New York studios and Bruce Beck.
And we'll look at the hub of our co-production here in New York City. Bruce Beck along with Bobby Ches. And Bobby, does Close need to combat the arrogance of Eubank with a little bit of aggressiveness?
Yeah, I think the aggressiveness will stop a little bit of the arrogance, but that's Eubank. Eubank's not aggressive, but he's an arrogant fighter. What it's going to do is stop him from posing. He's standing there posing. He thinks he's a bodybuilder on stage, and he's not getting hit. As Freddie said before, he said, man, standing there posing, you punch him right dead in the face.
How much energy does it take out of you to pose like that?
To keep making your muscles tight and flex, and I mean, it's silly. It's a waste of energy. You're not relaxed. You're not doing things. You're telegraphing punches. I don't understand why Eubank's doing it, but that's something that seems to fuel his psyche. So I don't know.
All right, let's go back to Steve and Ferdy in Belfast.
Thank you, Bruce. Round 6. A lot of barking in that corner of Eubank.
Somehow we snuck a microphone in there long enough to hear, and what we heard was some screeching voices saying, come on, come on. He's taking those last 2 rounds, come on. It was no longer a nice, quiet corner.
Right uppercut by Eubank, and it looked like Close was about to do all the damage, and Eubank was the man.
Well, you got to figure you're judging all that running, turning your back and running away from somebody. You lose points. That's not a nifty boxing move. You don't want to turn your back on anybody in boxing.
Roy Francis of England, Gene Glenn of Cleveland, Ohio, and Dr. Clark Sammartino, an oral surgeon from Rhode Island, are your 3 judges.
And what it appears to be is a cut, but it looks like it's high on the forehead of Close. It doesn't look like it's in the eye. It looks like it's right at the hairline. We'll have to see a little bit closer when he comes this way, but right at present, some blood is coming down, but it usually does it right at the hairline. That's nothing, and they can't stop a cut for that.
It's dripping straight down the nose between the eyes, fortunately for Close.
That has never been stopped because of a cut in the hairline. It's going to be bloody looking, but it's not going to be close.
It does not look like a serious cut from our vantage point. Although it does look messy.
It's going to be messy, all right.
Midway point of round 6.
Main thing is going to be he's going to look like a beaten fighter when he's not. I mean, he's going to look like the guy that's taking all the punishment.
Eubank just posturing, just standing directly in front of Ray Close, but Close can do nothing about it.
Well, he's landing some jabs. It's not a see that there's 2 jabs he landed in a row and forcing Eubank back. Now, if the jab lands and he forces the other fighter back, that's an effective punch. Those are points.
And now a double left hook by Ray Close to the body of Chris Eubank.
One to the body and one to the head. See, that's what he needs. He needs that kind of fighting. That's back alley brawling. He needs that.
Good elusive defensive move by Close. And the left jab now having effect on Eubank.
He is hitting Eubank hard with a jab. That jab is doing some damage.
Close scoring points here in round 6.
Look at all the fighting he's doing. They didn't get him for holding and hitting. I don't know why, because he was holding the head and hitting him with uppercuts. And that's holding and hitting anywhere in the world.
Eubank had better get off his guff here before it's too late.
Close with a little alley shuffle. Not a very good one, but it was the first sign that, boy, this kid's now enjoying it. Close is now enjoying it.
As Ray Close gets saluted, more posing by Eubank as he strolls back to his stool. They're working on that cut in the close corner.
Let's take a look at the replay where Close gets him on the ropes and starts to have his way. Now, these punches that land, see, right there is where it looks like both heads came together. We really don't know because we didn't see it for a split second. It looks like that's where it happened. If it happened at all, it was there because I didn't see neither man react. Usually when you get blood, one guy peels back and goes, ow, but nobody did. Well, they're working hard as they can in that corner. There's a little bit of desperation, although there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. They can't stop a fight on a cut like that.
Very hot and humid here in Belfast today. And this humidity is carried over into the arena, 8,000 strong at the King's Hall. And we go into round number 7. And Eubank comes out winging.
Difficult score to fight the score. I mean, you have to try to avoid thinking you're in Belfast and just score it as if they were fighting in the middle of Detroit. But, boy, I mean, it's hard to do that when you get this roaring crowd for any little thing that Ray does, that Close does. And Eubanks, every time he misses, gets a big ooh and ah from the crowd.
Well, we'll see how well they did in closing the cut on Close between rounds 6 and 7. Pretty good flurry, uppercuts to the body by Chris Eubank.
I think Chris is beginning to feel the heat of this. I think he's beginning to feel, hey, wait a minute. I don't know how they're scoring this, but however they're scoring it, I better get started. Listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd.
The crowd singing in unison to urge on their man Ray Close, who has really picked it up the last few rounds. Here's a little left hook by Ray Close that tagged the chin of Eubank. Close again.
Close coming on. He is scoring more effectively. That little cheering certainly helped him. I think part of the Notre Dame marching band is up there. The one that went to Barcelona.
And the mouthpiece falls out. The mouthpiece of Ray Close falls out. And Eubank, I'll give him this. He gets points for sportsmanship. He immediately stepped back, but now he's taunting the crowd. They washed the mouthpiece, put it back in for Ray Close.
And a thin trickle of blood. A thin trickle of blood is coming from his forehead. Nothing gushing. There's nothing big and bad about it. Now let's dispense with the cut for a little while and watch these two guys in action. It's not a factor right now.
And there has been a lot more action over the last 2 or 3 rounds, and Ray Close really stepping up the attack.
And making Chris Eubank miss. That's the main thing. He's making him miss, and then he's coming back with punches. Those are point builders. Look at this guy. What was that, a rumba step? The Kid Gavilan step.
Again, Eubank trying to provoke his opponent into mistakes when he does that. Close's manager Barney Eastwood feels the reason he does that is because of lack of stamina.
Incredibly enough, he's being out-jabbed. Eubank is being out-jabbed by Ray.
Close again landing here in round number 7. And Eubank doing the chasing.
And missing badly. He's just being outboxed right now. It's the only way you can look at this.
And that is it for round number 7. So, Freddie, we have had some outstanding action here in this main event for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Let me ask you, on your unofficial scorecard, how do you see it thus far?
I have it very close, but I have Close ahead. I mean, I hate to keep saying close, but he is ahead, maybe by 2 points at this juncture. Depends on how they gave those rounds 2, 3, and 4. It looked like Chris Eubank was serious, was going to come ahead and take it. He took the first 2, and then he started fading. And now this kid has come on. The fire has come on. Close is not doing what he did to him in the first round, making him miss, putting in a lot of punches, and moving a lot. So outside of the cut, the only thing I can see is he's taken the last several rounds, and he looks like he's on the highway to go, whereas the other guy's trying to figure out how do I stop him and not being able to.
We mentioned earlier, perhaps Chris Eubank should do less posing and more punching. Should he follow that?
That's his style, and maybe he's resting during that. It's gotten him this far. Why should he change it? And here we go with round 8.
Eubank comes out. looking to double up on that left jab. Paul Thomas has to break them up. Let's see if Close can continue.
You know, while we keep endlessly talking about the effect of the crowd on the judges, theoretically there shouldn't be any. These judges aren't from Ireland, and they have protection when they leave the stadium. So, I mean, there shouldn't be any, but it's nonsense to think that they don't. I mean, since I've been in boxing 30-some-odd years, they do get affected by the crowd.
Good exchange here, and I think Close getting the best of that.
Excellent exchange. Boy, it's evident that Eubank looked at that film and said that uppercut put him on his can. Let me try that again, because he is always throwing that inside uppercut. It's a thing of beauty. He throws it well, but he hasn't connected yet in order to put young Ray Close down.
Very similar to the first fight. He threatened with that right uppercut all night long. It finally got through in the 11th round.
He's got a sweet uppercut, inside uppercut especially. He just brings it up. It reminds you of Carmen Basilio, had the sneakiest uppercut you've ever seen that would kill you with it.
It's a short, twisting right uppercut.
Oh, good right hand. Right on the money by Eubank. It did not even move Close. Close came back fighting, and that was a good one.
Midway through round 8, that may have been the best punch of the night by Chris Eubank. But Ray Close continues to just stand in there and take it.
He's a well-conditioned fighter, and he knows how to double and triple a jab. That's what I like, but he's not landing with it.
He is a well-schooled fighter with a good chin, very disciplined, very patient.
I'm very surprised that he leans as far as he does with the punches. I think a good, sharp puncher would have cleaned his clock by now. Eubank leans way out when he punches.
Close does not have one-punch knockout power. He accumulates punches. And some infighting here, and Close is connecting. And frustrating Eubank a little bit.
That's the first big breath he's drawn, and then he threw a very languid hook.
Good jabs by Ray Close. Less than 30 seconds in the 8th round.
And this is what wins the rounds for Close. When he punches, it's 2, 3, or 4, and then he moves out 2, 3, or 4, and the other guy takes and misses the punch. You know, if you count the number of times Eubank misses and the number of times Close gets in close and punches, Close is winning the round.
Close has been doing an excellent job of boxing, utilizing the jab very effectively. And the left uppercut, he missed with the right and came in with a left to the body. Ray Close, another good round.
Not so much posing this time.
Came in with a left to the body. Ray Close, another good round.
Not so much posing this time. No posing at all. Straight to the corner and help. A little oxygen, a little water on the head. He looking like a bit of a tired fighter now is Chris Eubank. Let's take a look at this replay. You see that outstanding right hand by Chris Eubank. That alone can't win the fight, but boy, it sure should discourage Close, but it didn't. It didn't hurt him. It didn't discourage him. He came right back fighting, which is a mark of a man that has his mind on winning the championship. This guy is on the right track right now, is Close, and he is talking championship in his corner.
He is tired.
You may have heard Barney Eastwood, the manager of Ray Close, bellow out, he's tired.
And he is.
Round 9. Scheduled for 12. Right above us, we get a sprinkling of perspiration. What a shower.
It's a relief from those sparkles.
Yes. Here comes Eubank on the attack, but he's turned around immediately by Close, going to the body and the head.
And Close working him on the ropes. I mean, this is what I like about this kid. He just got out of a death trap there, and then he was lucky enough to get out. Then he stayed and fought. I like that.
And a beautiful duck under move by Ray Close.
And don't get the idea this is a runaway fight, because this could easily be scored in Chris Eubank's favor. I'm just looking at what's happening with the aggressiveness and energy of Close and the desire that he's showing, and the fact that he's in Ireland.
Are we headed for yet another draw?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Certainly, Chris Eubank is not winning this decisively. I mean, I think he's losing, but it could well be on the official scorecards that it's even or maybe he's a little ahead.
Eubank, the 2-to-1 favorite coming into this fight.
Well, I'll be interested to see what my colleague Bobby has it on television, what it looks like on television. Of course, we know it looks different here, but Bobby's a good judge of this. I'd like to hear his scorecard.
Those punches missed by Eubank. Look at Close, the way he's dancing around. He's got tremendous energy. He's in excellent condition.
Good combination by Eubank, but back comes Close. No sooner does he get himself some points than bang, here comes back this young kid on the tip of his toes and punching with everything. He's trying to wear him out there, see? He's bigger than he is Close. And when he gets in close, he punches with everything he's got close.
And Ray Close is extremely busy.
And jumping up and down like if this is the first and second round. He is not sitting around like is Eubank on his heels and his feet.
Ray Close saving it for the middle and latter rounds. He started off in slow fashion.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It is the middle of the fight, and the pressure of the two is close. And the guy who's done the most effective fighting is Close. And Eubank has got his work cut out for him here if he's going to keep the crown.
Well, maybe Close was right. Maybe he's got more fire in the belly than Chris Eubank.
Well, he certainly is feeling it now.
Eubank has gone down only once in the 8th round of his first fight with Nigel Benn in November of '90, although he claimed it was a slip. The crowd again coming alive. Final seconds, round 9. And another effective round for the challenger, Ray Close. And with that, let's go back to our New York studios and Bruce Beck.
Well, quite a bit of action in the 9th round. Bobby, are we headed to perhaps another draw?
Well, certainly another close fight. The rounds are kind of funny, back and forth, a little ebb and flow. Up until that last round, I had the fight even. I gave that round to Close. Just out hustling Eubank. He's just doing a little more. He just seems to want it. Maybe that fire in his belly. He just wants it a little bit more.
In the last fight, Eubank came on late. In the 11th round, he knocked him down. What do you see unfolding here?
He's going to need another knockdown to be convincing, and again, we're in Belfast, Ireland, so we may have a problem with the decision. I wouldn't want to be there and have to judge it because the fireworks could ensue.
If you were in Close's corner now, just tell him to continue to be aggressive?
Continue to be aggressive, push the fight, force the fight, finish the combinations. That's where it's going to win. That's what's going to win the fight.
All right, let's go back to Steve and Ferdy ringside. Gentlemen?
Thanks, Bruce. That old Irish spirit is becoming more evident here as Ray Close begins to pour down. We enter round number 10.
Well, if the scoring is big for Eubank here, then I really wish Bobby Ches was sitting next to us because I want to hide under Bobby Ches when there's a brawl going on. I don't think you and I have any chance here.
I don't even think that little leprechaun could help us.
No, we got enough dust on us to help us.
Ray Close, a devout Mormon, says if he wins tonight, his goal is to fulfill his next ambition in life, to defend his world title in the Mormon capital of Salt Lake City. He also wants to unify the title against WBC King Nigel Benn and WBA champ Steve Little. James Toney, the IBF champ. Combination by Chris Eubank.
But first, he's got to take care of Chris Eubank, and that is still not over and not settled, and we don't really know who's ahead. Both Bobby and I think maybe, perhaps, he says Ray Close is ahead, but we really don't know. This is that tight a fight.
Nigel Benn has signed to fight Darren Van Horn. A fight with Michael Nunn fell through.
Well, Michael Nunn broke.
Good point. We saw that
a little hole
against Steve Little. Listen to this crowd. Halfway through the 10th round. This is about as even as it gets.
Yep.
The jab by Chris Eubank, pushing Close back. One of those made contact.
like to see if this fight was in England, how they would judge it, and as against how they would judge it in Ireland. Because in England, they have to have this almost an even fight. Close is hurt. Close is hurt.
He's in trouble. Ray Close managing to stay on his feet, though.
30 seconds left, less than 30 seconds left. He's got to hang on. Big round for Eubank.
Can Eubank finish off the challenger? Close trying to keep his distance, but he can't go in for the kill. Chris Eubank now being cautioned by the referee, Paul Thomas. Close had better stay away.
Close had better hold him is what he better do, and he's certainly trying to do that.
Well, one or the other.
This is where a clock, it comes in so handy in the ring. Both men ought to be able to know how much time is left. It's so important. Now, stay away from him. That's what Close has got to do now. Stay away.
And he survives the round after almost going to the canvas.
And lets him off the hook.
In the 11th round of that first fight, when he got knocked down by that right uppercut, he also left Close off the hook. He didn't go in for the finish, and Close came back with a flurry.
And that right hand is what hurt him. You see, Close is hurt now. And if he could just have taken advantage of that, here comes the inside uppercut. There it is, a thing of beauty that Carmen Vasily was so great at. So is Chris Eubank, and he almost put him out. But then he didn't know how to finish. Missed. And then Close, desperate as he was, just hung on. Another angle. And this shows you what Close has to do to win this fight. Is just hold on to this guy, not let him punch. Right, see, that was just sloppy, but very smart on the part of Close. So big round, and boy, if it wasn't even, it's even now.
And although that was not a knockdown, it could be the difference. What a round for Eubank. Stunned Ray Close 2 minutes into the 10th round of the left ear. We go now to the championship rounds, 11.
I'm surprised that Chris Eubank let him off the hook like that, because he was gone. Now he's on the attack as Chris Eubank. Now he really wants it. He can feel it. He's energized now.
He's stalking Close, lands with the right uppercut by Eubank.
Eubank does not want this to go to a decision. Eubank knows this better not go to a decision, so he needs this knockout.
Eubank pummeling Close to the body, right in Eubank's corner. And holding and hitting once again by Close.
Time ticking away. That's what's got to happen. Too early in the round for Close to make a move. Close is survival right now. Close is in a survival mode. That's it. Hold.
And hit with the right hand until Paul Thomas comes in.
But again, the lack of aggression on the part of Eubank. Should have pushed him away. Should have gotten the inside uppercut going. Didn't do it. Letting him hold on. Oh, what an uppercut by Eubank. Missed, but that would have taken him out of this fight. He lands another good uppercut. Close still around, but a little ragged-legged. He's not still in this fight. He is still to be had. It's a very dangerous round for Close. He needs this round to rest and get himself together.
But a totally rejuvenated Chris Eubank once again surging forward. And again, Close hanging on. That was a slip by Eubank. Crowd coming alive. There goes the mouthpiece of Close again. And the referee steps in. The crowd going wild. It appeared as if he spit it out.
If he did, that's the smartest thing he's done all night.
It will bide him some time.
Oh, yeah, it gives him a lot of time to get himself back together. Again, this lamentable lack of clock. I mean, neither fighter knows how much time is left. You don't know how to step up the action and take it easy or what. This is the only sport that you know of. You don't know how much time is left.
Close going to the body.
boy, he's winning the crowd, if not the points. Now look at that.
A wild right hand against Sloppy by Eubank.
Which signifies fatigue. Maybe he's tried too hard. Maybe he hasn't got anything left.
Uh-oh. He may have punched himself out. This is obviously to bide him time when he does that. Chris Eubank. And that is it for round 11. Chris Eubank has gone to the 12th round 11 times. Ray Close has gone to the 12th round once, and that was against Chris Eubank last May in the split decision draw.
And I hate to tell you this, but I have it even now with that big round and this one that Close survived. I think this is a championship round, and being in Ireland and with these judges, it may well be the championship round. So we will soon see. If we were in England, I would say Eubank is ahead. If we're in Ireland, I'd say we're even. So let's see. Let's see.
Chris Eubank, who predicted this fight wouldn't go past the 4th round. The bouts have gone to a decision in Eubank's last 7 fights. He's 5-0-2. The 2 draws against Ray Close and Nigel Benn. Here we go, round 12 for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Eubank comes out wailing away to the body of Close.
An amateurish big right hand that missed. Close by Eubank. Oh, nice double, triple jab by Eubank. Now he's fighting like he was back in New York.
And this could be the round to decide the fight.
Yeah, he's fighting like he's at Gleason's gym now. Forget about the posing. He's back in Gleason's gym. He's in a ring war now.
He began his training in the South Bronx, New York. Turned pro in Atlantic City, comes back to England. He finds himself here defending his title for the 10th time, and another even fight. Chris Eubank.
Eubank is not fighting like he's trying to keep his title. He is trying to inflict some damage, but he isn't desperate. He just thinks that if he makes this round, he wins the fight.
The close corner leading the cheers, Barney Eastwood.
And the crowd following. There's some tape coming off the glove of Close. He's going to give him more time off if he wants it. All he's got to do
Thomas says, fight on.
Amateurish stuff by Eubank, and he got nailed for it.
Let's see how Close finishes.
Eubank's getting careless. Eubank is getting careless and tired. Both. Or maybe it's one the result of the other.
Less than a minute 30 to go, the 12th and final round.
Heading on the break. There's that strip of tape that can save him if he gets in trouble. Because all he's got to do is look at it, and they got to go take it to the corner. And that was Eubank holding on. Not close.
Less than a minute to go in the fight.
Big deep breath from Chris Eubank just then, and back on his heels.
A left hook by Close.
If Close finishes big, he could take this round. And if he takes this round, he just may steal the championship. Let's see.
Particularly here in his backyard of Belfast.
Well, they should keep singing, because while he was singing, he's winning.
He spins Eubank around. What an exchange. 30 seconds to go.
Eubank looks exhausted.
It's furious. Teeth coming from the left glove of Close. They're toe-to-toe. 15 seconds remaining.
Close finishing big. That's a championship finish by Close. Good uppercut by Close. Seconds left.
And there's the bell. It's over. Oh, is this going to be interesting? Both fighters hoisted up.
Well, that's close, and that might have been the finish at one. I might have it 114, 113 for Close. But again, a very highly subjective fight, but boy, did he finish big.
Outstanding 12 rounds of action, no matter who the winner is.
Ray Close being lifted
Round of applause. Outstanding
to the sky here at the King's Hall.
And if he doesn't win this, we may see some paper cups flying. But the exhaustion on Eubank's face in that last minute was something to see. He fought it on pure guts. You have to say it. He's a fighter. You have to say it. He's a champion.
And it is now in the hands of 3 men. Roy Francis of Kent, England, Gene Glenn of Cleveland, Ohio, and Dr. Clark Sammartino of Rhode Island. Strong feel that their man, Ray Close from Belfast, has done the job. A lot of nervous faces in the ring right now. Barry Hearn, the manager of the champion, Chris Eubank, very worried. Ray Close being paraded around as if he is the victor. We are just moments away from the decision.
Well, Don King is running around saying he won it because he thinks he did and because it would be good for him he did. Barney Eastwood came over and said they can't take that away from us. But all of that is nothing compared to what's going to happen here in a few seconds when the 3 men get together, add their card, hand it to our ring announcer, and we'll soon know.
It is near bedlam in the ring.
What an interesting fight. What a nice performance by both fighters. Both fighters, because while you can abhor the lack of professionalism to do all that posing, when the chips were down, he fought, did Chris Eubank, and he fought well.
And the valiant effort as well by the challenger, Ray Close, who may have eked it out with that 12th round performance.
Well,
time will tell.
If not, there's going to be a chorus of boos.
And a good show of sportsmanship there. After all the name-calling and taunting, Chris Eubank back-to-back with Ray Close.
Now this is the drama that we would miss with open scoring. By open scoring, you would already know right now, and you didn't have any drama. And that's about the only thing you could get against open scoring. This drama, which is the drama of the fight night, is missing.
And this big sellout crowd eagerly anticipating the decision. And it is taking a long time.
I think they should. I think they should issue those little computers that people add with so there aren't any mistakes in addition. Here we go.
Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the microphone. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Gene Glenn, scores the bout 118-112, Chris Eubank. Judge at ringside, Roy Francis, scores the bout 117-114, Ray Close. Judge at ringside, Mark Sammartino, scores the bout 105-104 in favor of the winner and still champion, Chris Eubank.
So there you have it. Chris Eubank is still the WBO Super Middleweight Champion.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for an outstanding effort here tonight to Ray. Nothing comes close.
Wait a minute. How did he get 105 to 104?
Very
unusual
scoring. This doesn't seem to add up.
Wait a minute, there's a problem here. If there's anybody good with numbers, it's Don King. He should be able to figure that.
There was a mistake made in the first fight when they made the announcement, and it happens again, it appears. Then they have to go back and add it up again.
Frankie Warren's arguing with Chris Eubank. Eubank looks like he's about to hit him. Eubank is very livid, but I don't know why. He's won the fight right now.
The judge, Gene Glenn, had a 118-112 Eubank. The judge, Roy Francis, had a 117-114 Close. And Dr. Clark Sammartino had a 105-104 Eubank.
He must have forgot to add the last round.
Most curious. Now there's a big huddle in the center of the ring.
Will we never solve this problem of scoring? I mean, week after week, month after month, we come to this. It's impossible.
And we had to come all the way to Belfast this time.
We could have stayed in Vegas for this.
So they're arguing about just that right now, the scoring.
There's no point to speculate. People are walking over here and whispering to us close, but I don't, you know, let's see what the officials call it, even if the guy won the last round. Then
Logic would
then you got to
dictate
draw.
that the doctor, the oral surgeon from Rhode Island, Dr. Clark Sammartino.
Wait.
Dr. Clark Sammartino should have read 115 to 114. Chris Eubank does not change the outcome of the bout.
It
but
should
the
have
score should have
read 115 to 114, Eubank. Dr. Sammartino's card. So we have finally solved that problem, but nevertheless, Chris Eubank is your winner. We'll be back to the King's Hall in Belfast, Northern Ireland, to sort this all out in a moment. Right now, let's go back to our New York studios and Bruce Peck.
Wow, what an ending. Meanwhile, it looks as though Eubank has defended his title successfully. It was a little strange there for a moment because I think what happened was the one judge had left out the 12th and final round. The only way he could get 105 to 104, which is what we had, Bobby, going into the 12th round with Eubank having the lead. And if you would have given that last round to close, you would have had it 114 to 114.
I had the fight pretty much a draw. I thought the first fight, Eubank didn't do as well early, but certainly here he closed out the fight better. He fought better early, and he closed it again strong. First fight, he wasn't near as good early and equally strong late.
Once again, the decision in the hands of the judges.
Yeah, and the one judge doesn't seem, he went through medical school, but he can't add very well. He left off the entire round, but I had the fight a draw. I think it was a great fight, but there were a couple of rounds that were incredibly close. Could be anybody.
All right, let's go back to the 10th round for a moment. Going into the 10th round, we both had Eubank behind, and Eubank seemed to take over in that 10th round, especially with the right hand.
Well, the big right hand is what really put the fight together for him. This was the only significant turning point of the entire fight, the 10th round. You know, there was a lot of back and forth, some really, really close rounds, a little bit of big power punching by Eubank, some bigger shots inside, a little more hustle by the challenger close. But you'll see the big right hand off the side of the neck and then an uppercut. There's the right hand, there's the uppercut. That was the beginning of the end as I saw it for close. And, you know, good argument could have been made for Eubank the way he closed the fight, even though he was just behind by a point here. And he finished this round. This was the turning point. After this, he didn't really lose much, except maybe in the last round. Just looked too exhausted.
But he finally got busy here, and it wasn't just that one right. He kept on plugging away.
Yeah, now, he didn't do quite enough to make this a 10-8 round because the round was almost over, and he didn't get the knockdown. If you score this a 10-8 round, it's clearly a Chris Eubank fight by decision. But, you know, we're over in Belfast. You have to watch. Some of the scoring was really drastic. But, again, those close rounds, you can swing them.
Look at the craftiness of close here, hanging on to Eubank on several occasions, and he got through this round without going down to one knee.
I think some of it was a combination of being crafty and being desperate and just being lucky. That Eubank got a little wild and missed him, and he fell in the right places and slipped off the other times in the right places.
But there's no doubt that Close knew he was in trouble in that round, and he somehow got through it and didn't go down to the canvas.
Almost deja vu exactly to the round. First fight, 11th round, the big right uppercut drops him here. The big right hand and right uppercut hurt him in the 10th round. Again, tilting the fight. So Chris Eubank is still champion.
So Eubank used his momentum to win that 11th round, and then in the 12th round, he got off to a terrific start until the last minute or so when Ray Close turned things around and almost came through with a victory or perhaps a draw in this fight. Let's go back to the 12th round, which was Close closing in style.
Well, Eubank has worked hard now. He's trying to close and finish the fight. But, you know, the challenger, there's no quitting him. He's coming right back. There's, you see a big left hand, right hand off the top of the head, and again inside, a little shove with the shoulder, and he's swinging. He's gonna take this to the bitter end. He thinks he has a title in his eyes, but a little bit out of his reach.
Where was this action earlier in the fight? I mean, this was toe-to-toe action for the last minute.
Well, that's what we were looking for early, hoping that one or the other would take a stand, but they both did a little of that cat and mouse, looking to finish strong. I guess they both thought they needed the late rounds.
I think so. I think they both believed at that point that they needed that last round very badly. We're standing by for interviews in Belfast right now. Let's go back to Steve Albert and Ferdy Pacheco.
Hey,
Thank you, Bruce. Welcome back to the King's Hall in Belfast. Chris Eubank, just moments ago, making his 10th defense of the WBO super middleweight title with a split decision over Ray Close. The fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, is alongside both Ray Close and Chris Eubank.
Well, let's start with the champion, the still champion, 10th title defense, Chris Eubank. We're doing an interview back for the States, Chris. So your opinion of this extremely close fight?
Extremely close. Ray Close done something reminiscent to what Michael Watson done in the second fight against me back in '91. He kept a phenomenal pace. He was tough. I hit him with very, very good shots. You know, one can only give the man credit for such a performance. Before the fight, I jinxed myself, and I was saying I'll take him out in one, and I got involved with the promotion, and I made a bet, and I hyped the fight, good promotion. But at the end of the day, when you do that, you sometimes get a hard fight, and that's what I got tonight. And congratulations to Ray Close for a tough fight. And last but not least, let me just say, there's no way, if I didn't get that fight by a split decision, this crowd was for Ray Close. The judges must have seen it my way. It must have been a secure win, otherwise they would have been swayed by the partisan crowd.
Well, we spoke about that quite a bit on our program because the judges are not from here, and they did judge accurately. At least they judged what they felt was a fight. Now, Ray, that was a very close fight.
Yes, but I thought, I won the last round like I done the first time we met. And, it was close, but I think with winning the last round,
You thought that was a championship round?
Yeah, I won. Usually say close. Whoever wins the last round usually says won the fight. I thought, like the last fight, I won the last round, hands down.
Did the cut bother you at all? Did the cut bother you at all? You can't even see it.
No, it's way high up. I mean,
it's in the hairline.
It wasn't no danger,
How about the round where you were badly hurt? Did you think that you were going?
Yeah, he put me down like the last time. I made the same mistake. But in saying that, one punch, it doesn't want to fight.
Because it seemed that he was on the way out. It seemed like he was gone. And yet he got away from you. Was that exhaustion on your part? Better boxing on his part?
I mean, I was hitting him with good shots. You've got to give the man credit and say, well, his resilience and his recuperating powers was great. And nothing can be taken away from the man from that point of view. Basically, I mean, what can you say? He put up a good fight. But that shot nearly had him out. And that's what clinched me the fight, in my opinion.
Well, both times you almost had him out, because you almost had him out the last fight. Let me ask you, would you be against a rematch because you fought two inconclusive fights?
No, this time, Barry negotiated. I would like to fight him again. This was close, okay? The crowd, I'll have to watch it on tape. When I watch it on tape, I'll know whether I really want to give them a rematch, whether they really deserve the rematch. Barry says yes, we'll do it in London. I'm happy to fight him again.
All right, Don, as usual, it seems to be falling in your hands again. Here we are again.
Here we are again, Bertie.
What's happening? Will they fight again?
I don't have the control over that. He's got a promoter that don't cooperate and support us and nothing that we do. But this guy got robbed tonight. No matter what you say or do, he got robbed. And this is just the way it goes. You keep getting these bad decisions. They won't post the scores openly. And every time it just compounds itself. So let them blame me for this one, too. Because this is another highway robbery, the biggest one since Brinks. This is a great fighter. He shouldn't win this way, though. This man won the fight. You didn't win the fight. You didn't win the fight. You didn't win the fight. And the thing is, it's a sad commentary when we find these type of things happening. But this is what happened when you got a guy like this here.
Chris?
Don King talks a lot of rubbish. He's not a judge. He's a promoter. Do your job and listen, Don. No, I didn't. Neither, be quiet. Neither did you. That's right. The judges made the decision, and that's final. I don't think so.
All right. Barney Eastwood, who is the manager and sort of disappointed in this.
We were robbed again. That's twice they've done it on us. This WBO organization is a joke. They should be barred from boxing.
Will you be willing to fight him again?
We would fight him, surely. Yeah.
In London?
But we're going to get fair play.
Well, if you can't get fair play in Ireland, where are you going to get fair play?
In London. Listen, we invented democracy. Forget everybody. The judges did their job for what they were paid for. We won the fight, but we'll do it again because he's a great fighter.
Frankie Warren.
He won the fight. He won the fight. No doubt about it. How can you give it one judge was disgraceful?
Freddie.
Chris.
Freddie. Everyone talk.
All right, we're going to have to go back to Steve because we're running out of time, Chris. In the midst of this turmoil, it's back to calm Steve Albert at ringside.
All right, Ferdy, thank you very much. Wild debate going on here at ringside. Just unbelievable. What a crowd. Well, a panel of writers here at ringside Jack McGowan of the Belfast Telegraph, Paddy Toner of the Irish Press, and Steve Buncey of the London Daily Telegraph have selected Ray Close as the fighter of the night. 2 donations of $7,500 each will be made to the United Negro College Fund and the National Hispanic College Fund in this boxer's name. So congratulations to Ray Close. So that'll do it from the King's Hall in Belfast, Northern Ireland. We hope you enjoyed it. A wild, crazy finish for the fight. Dr. Bertie Pacheco, our entire crew. This is Steve Albert. Thanks for your company. Let's go back to Bruce Beck for a wrap-up in our New York studios.
Thank you very much, Steve and Ferdy. So these guys, 2 fights, 1 draw, 1 split decision. It doesn't get much closer than that.
No, it doesn't. It really is. Those 2 fights were about as paper-thin a decision as possible. And the rounds, some of them are so close. With the objectivity of a judge to look at, you know, again, 1 round's judged differently from another is a 2-point swing. So if you just change 2 rounds, that's 4 points in the voting, and it looks like, you know, a drastic robbery, runaway in the wrong direction either way.
Does it make any sense for these 2 guys to fight again?
I think until somebody's decisive, it might not be a bad idea, and they'll keep making money, and it'll keep getting some publicity. But it can't hurt either one of them, and it can't hurt the boxing game.
After seeing Eubank tonight, what do you think about a unification bout against a Tony or another one with Ben or a Steve Little? Your thoughts?
Well, I think Steve Little has a little way to go yet to prove himself to be in the company of Nigel Benn and James Toney. I think James Toney would beat him. I think that Nigel Benn did beat him in the rematch, so he's got a lot of work cut out for him.
So that wraps up tonight's boxing from Belfast, and once again, a look at tonight's results. In the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship, Julio Cesar Vasquez improved to 50-1 with his 8th successful title defense as he knocked out the young Russian Ahmet Dudiev at 47 seconds of the 10th round. And in the much-hyped rematch between Chris Eubank and Ray Close, Eubank retains his WBO super middleweight crown with a 12-round split decision over his Irish counterpart. We'd like to thank our teams on both sides of the Atlantic that made this special satellite co-production possible. So for Steve Albert, Ferdy Pacheco, and Bobby Ches, I'm Bruce Beck saying so long for this edition of Showtime Championship Boxing.
Aquí en este domingo deportivo. Feliz domingo para todos.